My kingdom just matched into a KvK where we are the second weakest by power. Stick around to see our allies and enemies and watch me get absolutely wrecked on a William wheel. Hey guys, how you doing? So this is Kane. Hopefully my mic sounds better. I just spent a little bit of money to get a better mic. Maybe I'm a little bit louder. I know that I was quiet in my last video, so I got the feedback. I'm trying to change it up here. I also just ordered a webcam, so maybe you guys will get to see my beautiful face pretty soon. All jokes aside, we did just join our new KvK. We are in the middle of the Eve of the Crusade. Well, the middle. We just started. We're doing the barbarians, right? The marauders. It's my kingdom's downtime, so we're not ranking very highly. However, like I mentioned earlier, we are the second weakest by power in all of these kingdoms, so I don't imagine we're going to get a very high rank anyway. However, as everybody knows, pre-KvK doesn't really matter, right? It's all about the execution and who actually fights. So why don't we get into our allies and enemies and see how we match up in this current KvK. Alright, so why don't we start with our own camp, right? Which camp are we? So again, our kingdom is 2638. We are in the bottom right water camp, right? Our allies are 2420, which shout out to them. Their organization has been pretty awesome thus far in the diplomacy parts of KvK, so they're doing a great job. 2662 is a newer kingdom, definitely young on the fighters, but obviously we will hopefully get them out in the field. And then 2707 is kind of our big hitter. They have the most kill points in the entire KvK, and obviously 20.6 billion power is fairly large for this kind of C to low A range. Next, we've got our allies, which are fire. At this point in time, they are 2257, 2263, 2769, and 2770. 2263 seems to have the most power by kingdom. Their kill points are also pretty high, so fire and water both looking fairly strong here. Obviously, water with a little bit more kill points, but you'll actually see in a graphic that I'll show later that these don't exactly tell the whole story, so we'll get to that shortly. Next, we have our enemies, and that'll be the Earth and the Wind camp, so we'll go over Earth here quickly. Earth is obviously the strongest of our enemies. They've got 1821, which is the oldest kingdom in all of these. They're sitting at about 19.6 billion power, 307 billion kill points. 2650 is around the same, just a little bit lower. 2784 seems to be a fairly young or farming kingdom. I don't want to call anybody out here yet, but 62 billion kill points and 12.83 billion power seems kind of low. I mean, you know, 2662 is kind of in that same boat. Anyway, not going to get sidetracked here, right? You know, we'll see how they perform. 2790 is getting there as well. So as far as kill points go for the top 300, they are looking pretty good. They're almost as high as water. So they're going to be a strong opponent. Next, we have wind, which is 2442, 2512, 2717, and 2762. They're looking at about 66.75 total billion power, and then 561.4 billion kill points. But I just want to reiterate, I'm going to show a graphic now that may actually give a different side of the story. So why don't we hop over and take a look? So as we know, Lilith does matchmaking based on the top 300 players of each kingdom, and for large kingdoms they can use this to their advantage, as they oftentimes have a lot of fighters or accounts that are not in the top 300 that don't necessarily count towards matchmaking. So I know that I said Fire Camp was the strongest, and this is kind of what I meant, and this is also where you can see the weakness of Water Camp. So if you look at the total power of the top 3 alliances in each kingdom, you're looking at Fire Camp with an astonishing 76.8 billion power, which is almost 20 billion power more than Water Camp. So Water Camp has a lot of fighters, maybe not so many troops. Now, we still haven't gotten to the troop training stage of KvK or pre-KvK yet, so maybe this changes in a few days. However, you know, water's not going to be able to reinforce those flags and structures that often. So I really hope that they win the field. Next, you have two more balanced kingdoms, right? Earth and Wind. As far as relative power goes, they're about the same, and they kind of hit the average between that fire and water. So this is kind of how diplomacy went. We noticed Water Camp had low power but high KP. Fire Camp had decent KP and really high power, and then Earth and Wind both were kind of middle of the road, and we just said, hey, why don't we just ally up and go from here. Anyway, I know that I promised you guys a William wheel where I get absolutely wrecked, so if you would like to stick around and watch that, I will speed it up to 1.25 speed. Anyway, you can see that I get absolutely wrecked, so why don't we hop in. Alright, so you can see we finished up. I obviously didn't get a single 8 spot. It was not the best wheel. In fact, I ended up doing the math, and the average gems that I spent per gold head were over 1,000 after I added in the tier rewards. So, you know, what you get for the 10 spot, the 25, the 40, 70, and 100. All that together, I only got 68 heads in total. Not a great wheel spin, but you know, we've got the next one, and I wanted to spend the universals, or not the universals, sorry, the gems here, because we've got that KvK coming up, and it would be awesome if that William was in maybe one more spot or even expertise by the time this KvK gets to Kingsland. Alright guys, so I want to end this video on kind of an account snapshot just to see where I am, how my kills are doing, where my deaths are, just to see how I can progress in this next KvK. So I also have an ambitious goal of taking a screenshot every single time I fill my hospital, and comparing that to the amount of T4 and T5 kills that I get at the end of the KvK, so that I can see the exact ratio of trade that I got throughout the entire KvK. It's an ambitious goal. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but if I can give you that specific data, I'm going to try to do it. So stick around for that. Obviously, I have 132 million T4 kills, 51 million T5 kills. Yes, I have 12 million T1. Don't smite me. I use my farm to buff my main so that during arms training low horror events, I can get a better score. And I also had to T1 trade once, so don't kill me, it happens. But anyway, this is where my kills are. My deaths have about 11.89 million, so hopefully that'll be up to, I mean, at the bare minimum 13. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks for sticking around, guys. I'll be streaming this KvK as well as recording it. Obviously, there will be some fun shorts that come out. There will be other things, you know, like swarms and, you know, whatnot. Any crazy reports. So stick around, like, and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you guys around. Take care.